now?
He's probably on his channel right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't.
No, he is. All right, good. Okay.
Yeah, he's live right now.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Why he's live?
Yep.
Much love, man.
Yep. Hey,
See you guys.
nice talking to you, Ian. I'm sure we'll talk again soon, brother. Much
Yeah,
love.
See you guys next time. Much
Yep.
love.
Yep. I'll see you guys over there.
All right.
Having some difficulties here at the second. Just give me a minute. All right, this is my first live stream, guys, so bear with me. I'm trying to. How do I add the link? Let me call Sing real quick. Just 1 minute, guys. Okay, Cage, I see what you're saying.
Okay, hold on. Before
Did it show up?
Let me see it. Let me
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it showed up. Yeah, it's
All
on
right.
there now, man.
All right, now I'll be able to let me get off here and get you in here.
All right. I'm getting.
Sorry about that, guys. Hello.
Yep, testing. You're in. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah,
Yep.
this is my first stream, Glenn. Sorry about that, brother.
No problem. No problem. I got you.
See what happens.
See if Cage. Yeah, Cage. Click. You
Cage,
gotta add. Keep adding people. Yeah.
Yeah, he helped me out. All right.
Here's Cage.
There's Cage.
Yeah.
Hey, Cage.
Hey, you got it figured out, huh? There you go. It's your first live.
Yeah, I got it figured out. Thanks, man. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, first live, man. Welcome. Never seen myself doing this 6 months ago. But open topic, man. We was talking about the frequency. Funny thing, you were talking about the copper bracelets earlier with the grounding.
Yeah, right.
So,
I had friends of mine that wear the
a
copper
lot
bracelets.
of
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of healing with the copper bracelets. That's why you know the copper tone knee pads and stuff that they sell at Walmart. It's got the copper lining.
Yeah. Tommy Copper sells all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, they're getting rich off of that stuff, man. You know that they've sold this thing on this copper, this gold conductive was better than copper for all these years, and now we're finding out that actually that copper is more conductive than gold. So it just falls back into everything that we thought we knew is all bullshit, man.
Right.
I think it's like copper, gold, silver, then aluminum.
Yeah, they've been using aluminum wiring in houses a long time before copper. They used aluminum wiring. Yep.
Right, and you've seen that they took all the copper plumbing out of all the homes.
Yeah, and went to plastic. Yep.
Yeah, and it's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think of that. All our water we're drinking through the faucets are all through copper pipes. So that was good for you. Yep.
Apparently, silver is the most conductive metal, though.
What's that, bro?
Apparently, silver is the most conductive metal.
Oh, more than gold?
More than gold or copper, yeah.
Wow.
Which is also represented by the moon. The moon's represented by silver in alchemy.
Oh, I didn't know that. The moon's represented by silver. Oh.
Gold is the sun. So yeah, it has to do with the moon. Like you see how much of an effect the moon has on human beings and wildlife and that. Like even on full moons, and I was watching this clip, and the cops are talking. It was like some police clip shit. The cops are like, "Oh, it always gets crazy out here on the full moons and stuff." That whole thing.
Do you think the moon is a plasma or a projection? What do you think the moon is?
I think it's a projection in a way.
Yep.
It's part of the projection. It's like a part of the structure to make everything run.
I mean,
specifically, it affects tides. It affects water. Our body's mostly made out of water. Must have an effect on us too.
Like I said, Crow 777 showed us videos years ago of it redrawing itself. So, like a computer screen.
I think everything's pretty much a hologram, an electromagnetic hologram based off of the subconscious program that's been put into everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we can't. We got to watch what we say here because we're on YouTube, so you can't say too much stuff, right?
Yeah, you can talk in code.
No.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think Lonnie gives a fuck either way. I don't.
You can say whatever you want on here, man.
I do the same thing. I don't censor it.
Yeah, you can do it here too, man.
They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't censoring shit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Except this one time, Max. I was talking like this, and you guys, Max removed you know that guy. So he's like, how much would I bet I could say one word and have your entire fucking have your thing shut down? Right now?
Exactly.
I'm like, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. And he said it's none of these words that anyone really uses. It has to do with magnetite and magnetozones, the electromagnetic stuff. And he said that one word within 5 minutes, it got taken down. I'm like, what the fuck? That was fast.
Are you shitting me?
Starts with an M.
You'll have to tell me about that sometime.
Yeah.
What's up, Sing?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
We got new lingo now. We're reprogramming what's up to what's down.
Nathan Bowers. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Singe, I like to watch the old movies, and there was this one called Have you seen this one? Singularity. Have you seen this? Watch the beginning of a movie. I'll put up a link. It's called The Mole People. Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
Watch this. It's old. I like to go in the past. The Mole People. Yeah, I'll put a link in. Hold on. But you watch the first couple minutes of this movie, and it tells you about 3 different scientists that told about what the world is really is, what the Earth is. 3 different, and then all 3 guys have accidents. It didn't last long. Let me see.
I bet.
Yeah, I know exactly. What's this? Right here. I got it.
Really?
I searched up the synopsis. It has to do with mutant Sumerian people living under the fucking.
Exactly, but I don't watch it for that content. I watched it to learn. Let's see. I'll put it right here in chat. I got a link for it.
The Sumerian.
And then enter. I don't know if my link will work because I'm not a moderator. Can you see that link I put in the? I'll put it in private chat.
Yeah, how do I throw the wrenches?
Yeah, I don't think I could put a link in chat without a wrench.
I got you. I'll do it. I'll do it, brother.
Okay, no problem. I put it on. But that movie, if you watch the first 5 or 10 minutes of that movie, there will be a professor at a college talking about 3 different scientists, and listen to it carefully. Write down the scientist's name and research each one of them. And all of them had terrible accidents when they were telling about their views about the planet and where we live. Yep. That's what I like to do. I like to go in the old movies in the past and find guys that had different ideas and research them. You know what I mean?
That's the way to go about seeking information, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Like, how about that Dr. Forrest? Remember him? He came out in Australia about the moon. It was a plasma. Nobody would ever land on the moon. You try to research that guy, he don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So his theory about the moon was it's like a plasma structure.
It's a plasma.
Now I can play this, right? Can I just tap on that link and it takes?
I don't know. I can
get you a link for the movie if you want.
But the problem is he'll get a copyright strike right away if he starts playing something that's not. I'm not sure how all that works.
You don't want to be doing that, Lonnie, unless
that's what I'm saying. And
fair use.
No, there's a way to do it. You have to put a watermark on the page you're viewing it on, and that gets you out of the copyright thing. But I'm not sure.
You say fair use.
I think it's a little bit more than that now.
No.
Well, just give me a strike, right?
It depends. They might shut down.
Okay, well, I'll just share the link.
Yeah, share the link, because at your stage, you're saying things happening with your targeting, they probably try to shut down your channel.
They will. They'll pull the plug right away and kill the feed. Yep.
Yeah. So
Right. Yeah.
until you learn the details, Lonnie,
I found
Yeah.
I found a link for it.
Yeah.
For you
You
to
know,
watch
man,
after. Here's a
I'm gonna
free
do
link.
an interview. Okay.
Yeah, it's on
I'm gonna
archive. You
I'm gonna
might be
do
able
an
to play it if it's
interview
on archive.
in about a week or so with a guy named Tim from Australia. He's a highly intelligent individual and well informed. And him and I are gonna have a sit down, and he's a targeted individual as well, and he's got a lot of information, a lot of sensitive information that he's found out through research, and he's been a target for many years, and I'm not sure his he has an extensive work background, and uh, he's into tech and things of that nature. And as we're finding out, a lot of these targeted individuals, uh, a lot of them are scientists and whistleblowers. Some of them are even bankers. You know what I mean? I mean, all different walks of life, man. There's no discrimination on the spirit. That's for sure.
I'm
They
just
do not
trying to
mind.
figure out. I'm just trying to figure out who are the puppet masters.
they would be not known. All the
You're bogging, brother. How's the audio, guys? Do I need to turn anybody up or?
No, I could hear Cage. I could have. I mean, Singe.
I can hear things, but
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Pretty good.
The
Yep.
version everyone can hear each other, I
Good.
think. But yeah, the version I dropped of that movie in there, I dropped the link. It's colorized
All right.
through AI. Ran it through an AI to make it in color.
Have you seen that, Cage? Have you watched what I'm
Really?
talking about the first few
I
minutes of the
haven't,
movie?
but no, I'm definitely adding it to the queue. It looks interesting. It's about a glacier beneath something about Mesopotamia.
Yep, but
Sumerians and stuff.
exactly. But if you watch the beginning of that, it will the professor in the college, he talks about the three different scientists of their view of where we live and what the world is, and each one of those guys came into a tragic accident that was going around talking about it.
They committed suicide with three backs.
Yeah,
Three shots to the
exactly.
back of the head or something.
It always
Really?
ends that way, doesn't it? Always
Three
end
shots
that
to the
way.
back of the skull, huh?
Yeah.
That's just awesome. Really talented, suicidal people.
Yeah, they're vicious.
Yeah,
People are vicious out there, man.
And I don't even know how you can justify that as not a homicide. What's that, Glenn?
Oh, I was going to say there was another guy too. I researched. What was his
What'd you
name?
say, Glenn?
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me, Cage?
Oh yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, he's having trouble
I
with
can
his
hear
end.
you. Yeah.
Oh, no, I said there was another guy. What was his name? His father was in the
I can hear you.
military. Oh, his father was in the military, and they used to dig the underground bases. Dulce. He dug the base. His father and him. He was military, and they were in Dulce, doing those underground, their underground cities or whatever the hell they're building out there. And he ran into the aliens, some creatures under the ground. Have you heard of that one?
I seen that guy's whole testimony. Actually, I think that they ended up killing him.
Yeah, right. He was in a wheelchair, and he ended up another one that suicided with his strangled with a cord around his neck. Right. What was his name? Do you remember, Singe?
I don't remember his name, but I remember exactly who he is. I looked at his interview.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
He was also introducing metals, not names of metals. He knows about that aren't on the periodic table. Yeah, he was also shot once. They attempted to kill him one other time. He got shot, but they didn't kill him.
Yep, that was a long time ago. I researched him, and yeah, they took him out too. When you get close to the truth, they take you out. Yep.
Well, yeah, if you refuse to get bought off and shut up, then you get killed.
Yeah. I'll remember his name in a second. I just gotta think of it. Then you can research it. But I'm like, I watched all his videos. He used to go around touring and talking about the stuff. Dulce.
I
Yep.
know. Yeah, I know you're Dolce, or Dolce, what I don't know how to pronounce it. I know you. I know what you're talking about. Though I was just watching like a documentary. It was talking about it, but I forget the guy's name.
Mm-hmm. I'm real good with names, but I can't remember his name now.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
no worries. I know exactly who you're talking about.
hmm But yeah, he was in his final days. He was in a wheelchair, and he was in a motel room
Now,
on tour.
have you guys? Go ahead.
I didn't hear you.
What's that guy's name again?
Oh, I'm trying to think of it. Hold on. I'll find
What's that guy's name again?
It's.
I've been watching a lot of Divergence stuff. He's got
I
a lot of
watched that.
interesting stuff. He was talking about. Yeah, did you see the one today with he had the meat from the petrified rocks or meat or whatever it was? It looked just like bacon and just crazy. Very interesting.
It was Paul Benowitz.
You know
Paul Benowitz, is that the name?
what's that?
The name of the guy, Paul
Benowitz.
Benowitz, is that it or not?
No, that's not him from Dulce. That's not the Dulce guy. No. That was what was his name now?
Yeah, the two names are coming up was the Paul Benowitz guy and Richard Staver. Richard Shaver. That's not it, is it?
Kinda. There it is. Yeah, I appreciate you schooling me on the live streaming.
Yeah, Glenn, check the link I put in the private. I think it is this guy, isn't it? I dropped the link in the private.
No, that's not him. It's weird. You know what's weird is I'm searching for it as well because I've watched all his stuff and he's not being seen. So I'll have to go on DuckDuckGo or somewhere to search because they've taken him off the YouTube. Wow. Oh yeah, no, this isn't the guy. Nope. Let me go on DuckDuckGo because it ain't gonna find it on Google.
That guy was also involved in that same base. Something about Delta Force was dealing with him.
I think Sing's eating.
Philip Schneider. That's him.
You were
I
saying
found
something.
him.
Oh yeah. I thought I was on the mic.
Yes, Schneider. That's the guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're blocking him wicked. I could barely find him on DuckDuckGo. Wow. Yep, he must have hit the truth because they took him right off all the.
And what's his research?
Schneider.
What's he?
His family was in the military. They dug underground bases, and his father was, and he was also. And during when he dug in New Mexico, the Dulce base, he ran into aliens, the Greys. and they had a firefight and stuff supposedly, and then he came out and talked about it and said what was going on. He used to tour the country and talk about what they ran into in the firefight. They had a lot of soldiers supposedly got killed from it, and then all of a sudden he ended up being suicided. When he came out and talked.
You muted out of there for a second.
Was he in Delta Force? He has a book.
Yeah, I got him. It's here. This man a liar? Phil Snyder and Dulce Base. He's actually still on there, but that's a short version of his long speech. It's only 16 minutes, but he's still here.
Yeah. No, he's dead now. He's dead.
No, it's still available on YouTube. I put in Snyder Alien Dumbs, and then I got him a couple of his vids.
Okay.
So he's got a few of them. One's called Volume 1, ETs, UFOs, and New World Technology and Overview, 1940 to present. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't remember his name because that was, what year was that? How long ago?
It says basically, I know this video is 2 years ago, but the information he's giving is from 1940 to present, I guess. But that video must have been, I'd say, in the early 80s, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Just when color was probably being introduced.
Oh, this is a documentary, actually. It's called The Schneider Story Beyond the Spectrum, the Underground.
Yeah, well,
he's barely anything about him.
He's got good information. From myself reviewing the video, it seems like he's genuine and he's speaking the truth. He talks about the alien encounter when he was working for the military, when they were digging, they were going to depths and they wanted to lower these guys to just check out the depths. Just basically, they were putting him down there, but they didn't tell him what they may encounter. So what he did encounter, he said he encountered the taller grays that were 7 to 9 feet, which would be the commanding ones. I've seen a gray in an astral travel, but anyways, it was different. Okay, this gray was huge. It would be like a giant, but in a dream astral travel, not in a aware state astral travel where I go to sleep in that. But anyways, he was talking about them being lowered down the dumbs, and he defined one of these, encountered one of the grays, and it shot a plasmatic field to him from the gray's chest and actually hit him and burned him. And he defined he had a pistol on him. He shot it. He goes, if he didn't have it on there, he probably said he'd be dead, because after they had to get out of there, and he was disappointed because the government lied, didn't tell him what's down there and what they might be facing. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, I don't know what to make of that. I've just, all throughout my experiences here, even in this earth, I've never encountered seeing a gray, though half falling asleep, a little small gray try to grab me through the wall. But then once again, it was in the dream state, astral travel. What I've seen, though, what I can confirm, I was crab fishing with a cousin of mine in North Vancouver district in Vancouver area, except the North Vancouver district. We're crab fishing, and I seen it sounded like an airplane flying as high as they usually fly, like it sounded like an airplane engine. But when I looked up, it was if you can imagine a square within a square, but the corners weren't connected to either square. And what happened is, while I was looking up, it lit up and it had a luminous display of the square within the square, and it had all the colors represented at the same time. It wasn't one color, it was like all the rainbows of the colors mixed into it.
Your mic's glitching out, and you got someone in the backstage there, man. You got Nathan in the back. But yeah, when I was looking up that Schneider guy, I've never seen this on Google before. At the bottom of the page, it said, some results may have been delisted consistent with local laws. Learn more.
Yep.
What the fuck?
They're erasing that's why I said I had to go on DuckDuckGo to find them. And they're erasing, you can't research shit, They don't want you to know something, they're erasing it off of Google. Yep.
I found that documentary, dropped the link about him. It's free there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a question. Has anybody seen what is perceived. Were you guys hearing what when I was giving the information, or did I glitch out?
No, I heard most of it. Nope, I heard most of it. Yep, you researched
Okay,
it.
so it was fine. So basically, that's the only thing I would identify that I've seen up in the sky. But this thing at the sky level was huge. Okay, one of the line bars to the score within the score would have been, I'd say, at least 4 747s in length, if not more. So that thing was huge, whatever the construct was. But it sounded like a regular airliner engine. So what it did was, when I seen it, I shook my cousin. I'm like, check it out. He looked up and it blinked off. I'm like, he's gonna think I'm a bullshitter. But it lit up one more time, and he's seen it. Then it went behind clouds because it was up at the cloud level. But he was like, you see that? He's like, I see that. I was like, that's the only thing I could identify as I seen as an object that would be considered an advanced craft or a UFO or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm convinced that there's a ton of giant crafts up there. They're all cloaked. They got the technology. Yeah, we can't believe the technology they have up there now. I think nuclear power, I think, is all electromagnetic energy. There's no nuclear power whatsoever.
I've seen some weird shit up close with 2 witnesses too.
Mm-hmm.
And what it looked like, it didn't really have a form. It was fucking weird. It was like a color you could never describe, really. And it kind of looks like, like on a hot day, like when the concrete, like it's like hot, it's like bending the air around it. Yeah, it was like bending the air or bending like the area around it. It was like a mirage or something.
It probably was a different dimensional craft resonating in this dimension, holding its field too, like a resonance field, what you're seeing. Yeah, that's pretty cool you say that. I had a cousin that's seen the triangle craft flying at about 2 telephone poles high, and with a friend of his, and he said it was being escorted by 2 jets at the point in time when they seen it, and it was absolutely silent when it flew by.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen one of those Auroras. I think it was called, or I don't know what the name.
The TR-3B Astras. The TR-3B Astra.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. That's what my brother said.
It was silent, but it was like making like strange clouds around it and shit, and like it kind of made like a sound like kind of like a wind, It just sounded like wind, and like before you can even blink your eye, it would shoot up, and like they move like constellations in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
They'll like mimic like fucking what looks like to be like a star, but then they teleport there.
That Mr. BBB333, he's on YouTube all the time with the weather and all that stuff. He's been showing tons of stuff in the sky of different shapes, that clouds are changing shapes with crafts there, but they can't see them because they're cloaked. He's been saying that for a long time. Yep.
Yeah, what you say is cloaked. In a dream once that I had. Oh,
Cage.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Nathan's trying to get in. He's saying he's backstage, and I'm not seeing him. Is there a number allowed?
No, you're allowed to have 6 people.
Add another number, or what's going on here? Why I'm not seeing him?
No, you're good. You can have 6 people. Maybe he left.
Okay.
Tell him to hop back in.
Nathan, rejoin, and we'll let
I told him to go out and try again. I'll add him.
Yeah. So what you were saying about
I had to come back myself, so that's probably what happened. So if you come back.
So what you were saying about ships being cloaked is accurate. I went to sleep once, so remember, recall everyone here. Sleep is another astral level. So what happened was in my. It wasn't even asleep, actually. Okay, no, I actually was well resting. I remember this. This transpired. I'm going to tell you how I got up to this craft that was cloaked in the atmosphere of the perceived Earth here we're on. There's many of these military ships up there on standby for evacuation purposes, if so needed, maybe. So there is many ships up there cloaked. Yeah, you are right. I'll tell you how I got up there. I was in my room well resting. It was street lights entering the room, so it was really dark at nighttime, but I was not asleep. I was well rested, and when I'm well resting, I can astral travel sometimes into different levels in this channel. So what happened is, with my eyes closed, I seen this lion head appear, like a door knocker, like a half a lion head, like a door knocker on the wall. It was about 3 3 feet round, and this line was not from this world. The construct of this device, it was like a metal, realistic type of line. I'm familiar with technologies that are not from here. This is the construct never could be made here. It was made out of a metal, and once it appeared on the wall, it was like I knew I need to connect it with my thought of intent. Once I connected to it, I knew right away I was transported. It was like a teleportation device. I was transported to a military craft that was cloaked in the high atmosphere to this reality here, perceived Earth. And I was seeing the first perspective for myself being in a cafeteria, food tray. I was returning to the sink section. Nothing advanced. It just looked really clean and like a modern day type of kitchen you see, some type of school. Right. But when I got up there, I knew it was a military craft, and like I defined, it was up there for purposes of, like security in case evacuation needs to be done of specific certain beings or people that just need to be removed from this dimensional plane for certain specific reasons. But I was made aware there's many of these crafts up there. They're on standby. They always are, basically. And I was made aware of sort of a ship to evacuate beings, but also to make sure to watch over certain things happening here that should not escalate to certain levels. If they were manipulated or they weren't supposed to be part of the simulation, they would intervene. But it's just a standby safety protocol. Make sure everybody doesn't get manipulated beyond the design of what's supposed to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. That's interesting that you stated that there's definitely crafts up there cloaked for sure.
Oh, definitely. Have you ever seen this? Watch this. I'll show you a link. I think that we could be living something like this. Watch this. It's a free 10-part series on YouTube called The Star Lost. Have you seen this?
No.
Which I'll search and I'll put a link in.
Star what?
Right here. The Star Lost. I got it right here. Watch. I'll damn YouTube and their damn commercials. Right. Hold on. Let me get it through and then I'll put a link in for you. You can watch this 10-part series, but we could be living like this right here. Watch.
You're good, brother.
Okay, video playing soon. Hold on. It's free on YouTube. So if it's free on YouTube, can you stream it there? I don't know. Okay, watch this. So I got it here. Copy. And I'll put it in private chat right here.
Somebody's.
I didn't. Solani, did you drop some links to videos?
I think I got it right here.
I put it in private chat.
Yeah, I'm dropping it right now.
This is like, it's like a spaceship, and it shows a world like we are with a firmament over it, but a whole bunch of different ones on this giant ship. It's cool. It could be like that where we're at. Did you get the link I put in private? Yeah.
Yeah, the link is going to be in the private. The thing is,
in the private chat. I'm gonna put it in the comments.
If you put it in the comments, good. If not, I'll take a snapshot.
I'm gonna put it in the comments too, so
if I try to save
everybody
it,
else can see it. Well,
yep. Now, if you can play the first little bit of it, and it will show you the ship with all these worlds on it. It's cool.
There you go.
All right, got it.
It's an old show they did on.
I don't know what happened in the 80s.
I got it. Save that.
Anybody that wants to join the panel, you're more than welcome. Just
right. You see that? This is like the domes. They're saying the Earth is a dome.
Exactly.
Do you see all these bubbles? This is the invites to different spheres and sectors that would be defined as somebody else's thought core. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Yep. This is really accurate. That's what
I thought. I like this one. Yeah, I watched all the 10 parts, but he goes from world to world. Each world thinks they're their own place, and it's a giant ship. Yep.
It's almost like I defined, everybody has their own sphere dome experience of events, where it's it's basically all exact copies, but there are different frequency resonance determined by somebody's ascension that they're attaining. So that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you'd like that, knowing that.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. That once I see that, I knew what it was. I was like, yeah, perfect.
And if you listen to, like, I know Alex Jones and David Icke, they're all gatekeepers. But if you listen to some of his shows, yeah, even Alex Jones says the entities that have been controlling us here have been here for thousands of years. He even said that on a show. So he knows all these Bill Gates and George Soros and all these guys. They're all just the front guys. But the guys that control them are the real McCoy. You don't ever see or hear them.
So I'm going to drop something here that should clarify people's perception of what's happening. Did you see that? I see the beginning of the first clip of that. It shows that ship with all the domes.
Yep.
Okay. So if you can perceive these domes as other people's thought cores, their copies to their experience, Earth, their own thought core, how to define their own channel sector copy spheres. So what was happening was these beings were leaving their spheres and hijacking into another dome. Do you see how they're on the spaceship? It's like had bridges connecting the different domes.
Yep.
So what's been happening for so many years? These beings have been partying in our domes, our thought cores. So what's happening now is I've exported them all back to their domes, thought cores, and making sure nobody comes to my dome on the spaceship of experience of events. So if that can be clarified as how the hijack to one's thought core is happening, it really simplifies things more.
Yeah.
So it's like we are reclaiming our own dome, like on that spaceship, knowing it's our own experience of events, and we can invite anybody we want there, but definitely not inviting dark people to come mess up our reality anymore. See what's happening? We're cutting off those bridges, and only certain other bridges that are compatible are arriving now.
He was here. He was here for a minute, and then he dropped out again. I saw him. Here he is.
Yeah. There, I got him. Hey, welcome, Nate.
That ship analogies, that ship diagram's good.
Yeah. That's why I thought you'd like that.
Right.
Yep.
Sorry, man. I don't know what happened earlier, but welcome, brother.
It's so complex that it's very hard to understand really what the matrix really is. You know what I mean? It's so complex.
I'm not vetting anybody, so everybody, I hope everybody's cool and.
Yeah, everybody's cool. Yes, the matrix is complex, but it gets simpler as one becomes.
About, getting strikes and shit.
No, you shouldn't get strikes. Should be good.
So what's going on, Nate?
Oh, staying up late tonight. Was very interested in what you guys were talking about.
It's never late. As soon as it becomes late, it becomes early again. Why I say that is I used to hang out really, come home early in the mornings, and my father would find, how come you're home so late? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You should be happy. I'm home really early in the morning. He'd be like, his smart ass. Yes, it's interesting for sure. Information being shared is interesting.
Yeah, that's what's great about the technology. The only thing good about technology is we can have other people to talk about what we know and what's been faked and
Yeah, it's just a very interesting ways things can go for sure.
I try to wake some people up about the Pearl Harbor events. Like the night before the attack on Pearl Harbor, they pulled all the aircraft carriers out, knowing that there was an attack coming, and they didn't want to lose their most valuable assets. Well, nobody, you try to wake people up to that, and they say, "No, you're crazy." You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they're set with that movie that just can't change, and they're not willing to. They're not at the stage. They're not at the stage of awareness where they're aware of the things that were manipulated for certain reasons, right? And And I'm beginning to contemplate. A lot of some of the older footage I'm seeing is like I've been getting messages. That could be CGI insertions just
I
to
was thinking
rouse
that
up.
same. I was thinking the same thing. A lot of those battles that you're seeing with the World
Yeah,
War II and shit. I was
yeah.
thinking it's all fake shit too. I was actually thinking that never even took place. Yeah.
And apparently you're thinking the same thing. I'm thinking the same thing, and all thoughts arrive from somewhere. It's not our own thoughts where we're being informed. So obviously, some of that. You know what? I was informed what happened. To be honest, here to drop the what I was informed, all the Jewish Holocaust that happened, all those bodies being shoveled in. I was being informed that a lot of that was CGI just to cause rouse and the indifference to create a resentment in the Jewish what's the word I'm looking for? The Jewish people. So some of it may be even real, maybe it was, maybe it's not, but I've been informed like a lot of that black and white stuff is CGI sort of amplified stuff.
Well, it's weird how you're saying that is like I'm an ex-Navy aircraft mechanic. And so, I was top of my class in school and stuff. And I also have my A&P license from the FAA. And I look at these old movies and they're showing like rocket assist planes taking off, showing chemtrails. They never had that shit. Number one, what was their propellant? Number two, the planes couldn't handle those structure
Chemtrails?
of
There's no
extra.
chemtrails.
No, but I'm saying they went back and added that in old movies to make it look like it's always been normal. It's like, what? What
Yeah,
was the
exactly.
propellant on all these planes are taking off now, and they got
It's
these
funny. We're
rockets shooting off. Yeah.
talking.
Now, another thing I want to bring it to now, anybody believes
They're
Elon
not
Musk
regular
rockets,
planes, man.
if anybody believes those rockets that are being represented by Elon Musk that land by themselves and they re-land with those little jets stabilizing it, they got to be a total sucker because
Yeah.
Elon Musk reveals a lot of stuff on his interviews, and one of his interviews when they sent up the car on the Elon Musk rocket, he's like totally sarcastic. He's looking at the video with the interview. He's like, "Wow," he's like, "It looks so real. It looks fake."
Yep.
They're telling you everything.
You can tell.
Or
it's
they
really
throw
because
it in
of
your
the
they throw it in your face.
Right.
The rocket with Kurt Kurt Shatner there. They shape it like a
Here's the
dildo.
thing. Oh yeah, well, yeah, because that's they represent a lot of things with a great big penis, man.
Yep.
It's nuts. I just seen something today that where they had heads and like coats that went on top of a penis where they could take it and put different outfits on it, and it was just fucking ridiculous, man. Something about the masculine part of the man, the penis, that they are. I don't know if they worship it or I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's just some really, really odd shit. And what I was going to say was you were saying something about these old movies and shit, man. I was seeing something earlier today about, you remember Roddy Piper, right?
Yep. He was in the They Live
WWF
movie.
wrestler.
Yep.
He did
They
that
Live.
movie.
Yep.
They lived, right. Well, he also made a statement that it wasn't that this movie, it was a documentary right before he
I saw that.
died.
Right.
Why would
Yep.
he say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that was a new one on me. I had never heard that before. I thought it was a movie, but as we're finding out, they put half truths in these movies, and then their sick, twisted, karmatic fucking realm that they live in. They think if they tell you half of what they're doing to you, their karma's clean. That's not how it works, man.
Everybody's got to clean up their own shit.
got a
That's the way it
special-
works.
Well, here's the thing, Zing. You and I know one thing. We got a special little place designed for them, don't we?
Well, it's already been made. It's not our design, but I've seen. Yeah, this is where we'll talk about it.
I know what it is.
What?
I know where it's at. I know what it looks like, and I know who's in front of the door.
Yeah, yeah. There is cubicles in the anti-dimension, and beings shall
Yes,
experience
with
certain cubicles.
a double zero in front of it.
Yeah, I call it the 00 cubicle.
Is it?
I was
Is it
scribing
a
once.
001?
I call it the 00 because that'd be like the threshold, really, in between two different dimensions. But I did a substance when I was still using substances, and what I did was I had my computer off here, this tablet here, and I could scribe into
Right.
the computer. I could see another computer showing me. It showed me all the torture. Basically, showed me many levels of this torture cubicles of hell, and wow, it was. I can't describe it. Okay, I was just mesmerized by what I was seeing. It was like I was seeing a computer display with my computer off, and I could see code format programming going up the center of the computer, hitting the top and splitting to the outside, sort of like a T outward, up and out, while all this was being displayed. And it was in black and white, but I knew it was is how could I define it? And it was beyond CGI. It was just I knew what I was looking at was real. It was like how could I define it? Like you know how they make anime movies, except it's colored over, real actors doing real acting, like photographic capture. But it had this eeriest, energetic feel to it, where it was just the darkest energies I've ever felt. But I was enticed by it. I was just like, it was showing me one cubicle would arrive to the screen from the bottom up, going up, and then it would stop like an elevator and show me the torture of certain cubicles. And then it would show me another level of another torture of another cubicle. Of usually these beings were sitting on a chair, then a humanoid type of being would walk in, but it wasn't fully human, mostly human looking, but kind of misfigured. But usually these demons that were torturing these beings that perceived the torture cubicles of hell, they had this attachment on the back of their high back near their shoulder, reference region, just behind the shoulder back. And what happened is the demon would come out of the shoulder and exhibit the torture. And some tortures were devices sort of injected to the penis, to the anus, and some type of creature would go in the person. And yeah, it would be the person would start sort of being tortured. You could see the torture happening, the expressions on the face, and the person would sort of start vibrating forward and back, side to side, extremely fast. And it's like the body would get split from the tailbone up and start cracking in half. And eventually the body would just explode into pieces, right? And that would be the end of the torture. And sometimes these demons that came out of these demons on their back, these little the torture demons, I call them, because these humanoid type of beings that would come in that were like demons, they had the torture demon on their back that would do the torturing. And some demons that came out of the back it breathed like a fire and hit them right at the tailbone again, referencing region of the body, right at the between the legs, and it would split them right up with fire and just disintegrate the body by the time it came up. There was also other torture cubicles with females that perceived they were having sexual acts with guys, and the female would just be like taking pieces off of the penis, like biting it, and this guy would be just like in bliss. I don't know if these beings couldn't see what's happening or they see it and they were in a trance, but also they were like biting chunks out near their basically their sphincter, right? It was really weird. It was in black and white, but it was as real as it can get as in CGI, but I knew it wasn't CGI.
This started with the substance you took? What the fuck did you take?
This is when I dabbled with meth for the last time, about three years ago, I guess it would be now. Okay, minimal use though. No. Okay, whenever I did meth, I used it minimal, right? But I could scribe into and see things, definitely different dimensional planes, and it wasn't tripping, okay? And I'm like a minimal, lightweight user. This would affect myself majorly, but this was all viewed on the coming down of the high, not while I was majorly under the influence of the stimuli. So anyways, I was reviewing this for about, I guess, an hour and a half, 2 hours. You know what? I regret not watching it all. I'm just like, if I could get access to the computer, it would be like candy just to view everything that's happening in the cubicles. But some cubicles that came up to the computer screen like an elevator and stopped, there was nothing there but just fire. It was just like all black and white fire. I'm like, okay, that's a fire cubicle, somebody going in a lava pit or something. I perceived it as, but it was just fire and nothing else. I perceived that was probably one of the worst tortures, just to be in there cooking. But yeah, I perceived like many of them, but I only recall about 3 or 4 of them because, yeah, it was quite an experience of event. And
9
what I was,
descending levels of meth hell. What's going on here?
but what it was revealed, there's no end to the alchemization of the torture. So I kind of viewed it for days. It just wouldn't end it. But yeah, I regret not watching it longer. After a while, I'm like, whatever, I'll do this again later. I could do it. I could tap into it. It never happened again. And I didn't do meth again, right, to actually tap into it. I tried many times
What the
without.
fuck are you doing meth in the first place? That's the
Check this
prime
out.
question.
This is when I was experiencing, experimenting with various substances, right? But yeah, I did meth in the past, but minimal. Is this was very minimal. So it was a thing I experienced, and I realized what was being represented to myself. I was being represented the torture cubicles of hell that some people shall experience and go into to the records of recordings to get their, I guess, conditioning records of recordings returning. And this is what arrives to myself is these elites that caused these wars that were pointless, that sent many soldiers to the battlefields to be slaughtered. Boy, are they in for the levels of the cubicles there. To what level they go is really not my business, but I do know that that place exists. And as you're saying, Cage, it's a meth-induced psychosis. Absolutely not, right? It's just these things were presented, and the way I was seeing it all is just wasn't an illusion, right? But yeah, a word of advice to anybody: if you ever think of trying meth, don't try meth. Maybe try mushrooms or something. Stay away from meth. That is a definitely channel changer, and some people just don't come back. So yeah, I seen these cubicles, man. Wow. If I could tap into that computer, sometimes like I wish I could record it to show people that it would be pretty cool. But the in-depth of the precision of the view is just something I've never seen before. I cannot explain how real it was. It was like it was reviewing a real things happening in real time or recordings of something that happened real. And it was just the computer graphics that were generated. I cannot see it being reconstructed by anyone. It's just impossible. It's weird and eerie. So yeah, those cubicles, when one is doing their energy work, clearing their fields, some spirit soul sparks that are being cleared out of your sphere are actually going into what I define the dragon processing, that where those cubicles do exist. So when I do my clearings and energy work, I don't put anybody in those cubicles because that's scripting. It's not my business. I arrange the appointment out of my sector through the dragon, and what happens in the dragon is not my business. The dragon is like a black hole vacuum processor. Everybody has it inlaid and overlaid to their molecules, and when one reaches certain stages to their ascension, they clear their molecules knowing they're putting things into the dragon processor. So actual fact, now what you see up there as the sun and moon, they're not the sun and the moon. Those are actually the core dragon processors that are the repeaters, rebirthers, recyclers, conditioners, records of recordings, which would be perceived. Those are the dragons that process beings to the records of recordings, and they're always processing. I see the sun for what it is. It's not what it is. It's a dragon processor. It's actually a black body. Somebody looks up on Wikipedia black body. A black body is type of energetic field perceived as stars. They're called black bodies. So I've researched stars. I came across black body and I was studying it. So the energy they emit, actually, they retract right away. So it's like a pulse going forward and backwards. So what the sun and the moon is doing, if somebody is still in the anti-dark field, they're being harvested by the sun and moon dragon processors for just being sort of dark. They're being processed basically, and that starts off as deterioration of the body, diseases, and etc. all exists in the dark anti-programming channel. Age, extremely fast aging for people that get caught up in. I actually see those all the time. I sunscribed once, and I still have these two spheres. But lately, I can see more into my thought core. They're not actually two spheres. I've seen multiple dragon spheres doing the processing of energy being projected to them. That I'm very aware that it's actually spirits and souls getting projected to them, being processed. So I can see all that happening all the time, even with my eyes open. I can see that the spheres, they look like sort of pulsating electrical, sort of with all colors, vibrating, moving. Sometimes they look like a candle. Sometimes they look like electricity. They look like about a small little 2 millimeter pea size, but I definitely knew there was two there representing the sun and the moon. But just a few days ago, I looked into it again. I could see many of those dragon spheres. And then this brings myself here now. It's the year of the dragon, right? Yeah, of course, it's the year of the dragon. The dragons are going to be processing at an accelerated pace. The molecules, the security. I call them the guardians, security to one's molecules, to one's thought core. Every being has a dragon inlay and overlay security guardian processor to their thought core, and once they become aware of it, that's where they're processing things right into their molecule dragons, inlays and overlays for dark anti-energetic fields. So yeah, it's very interesting what's happening, but it is what it is.
Somebody said, Nate said it sounds like the end of a movie, Cabin in the Woods, where the demons and creatures escape their cubicles.
Well, no, but nothing really escapes those cubicles. It's more or less beings, spirit, soul, sparks, their core essence, their design, go in there for violations, manipulations, and deceptions. And for a being that is aware to these guardian molecules, to their thought core, the guardian dragon thought core, knows where they're putting violations and manipulations of energetic fields. I'm always flushing things into the dragons many times throughout the day, if not hundreds of times. Basically, I'm on the ball with my energy work, and when I clear my fields, also the tinnitus perceived drops majorly, that ringing, and that ringing also defines that there's many violations happening to your sphere where, I don't know, hold on, let me just see the name here. Glenn from Boston, right? You define about the ear ringing. When you start doing your energy work and you start clearing things with what I define the source core center, guardian, dragon, security processors that are like vacuums, black holes. As you clear your field, you'll notice your ear ringing drops majorly. And then when you don't do energy work for a while, more ear ringing comes back. That defines your sphere as being kind of not hijacked, but as being attempted to be manipulated. Because sometimes when I go around certain beings, I'll get a high-pitched sonic blast earring increase. So then I'm like, okay, I need to do more energy work, because not necessarily these people are aware. Some are aware beings, some are not aware. But every being who's not aware of attachments and entities is carrying a potential entity that's going to attempt to breach oneself and cause a manipulation. So yeah, more advanced levels, there's shit happening with these anti-beings all the time, perceived anti-beings. I'm not even going to call them demons. They're not demons, because I've seen the demons. The demons are strictly assigned to these cubicles for their purposes, and they stay there. Basically, they're in the dragon ring for violations and manipulation. They're in the cubicles waiting for deceived souls to be delivered and be conditioned, right?
I wanted to touch on that subject you were talking about earlier, Glenn. We were talking about and seeing you can add in on this and elaborate a little further with me. And we're talking about we're going to bounce back to the targeted individual that these planes that follow the targets around. These aren't your average everyday planes. These motors or turbines or whatever the hell they're using on these things have a high-pitched screaming sound, and
they whirl through. They go like
on what they are.
I call them Foo Fighters, man. They're actually insurgents. Those are like I call them the anti-dragons. I got luminary dragons, basically, that vacuum. These anti-dragons are repulsion fields, compression anti-fields upwards. I call them Foo
And
Fighters.
this is real shit, guys, because I see these over my house every night. They're up there now.
I call them Foo Fighters from World War II slang term, where they seen these orbs flying around their airplanes while they were flying, like glowing orbs doing maneuvers that could not be explained. So basically, they are what I call as anti-channel dragon regulators, right? That will torture somebody just by a flyby or a car drive-by. Lots of cars are inlaid with these Foo Fighter orbs, planes too. Some people are too. So these things, whenever they flew by, when I was in the beginning of a perceived gang stalking, organized harassment, that is actually dark entity, anti-channel manipulation orbs. Whenever an airplane would fly by, I'd be normal and finally regulate my reality, and then airplane fly by, I start trembling and shaking, getting anxieties, paranoid, phobic. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? I know it's a plane. How could I be scared of a plane? But later on, I was revealed that they are these interdimensional anti-orbs coming in.
Right.
One time I heard one of these things break through. It was like thunder. It was like,
right.
And then I hear, it's not an airplane engine. It's a high-pitched, low, and then it phases in, getting louder and louder. Then it's like, then they also have a whirl. It's like, you know, it's just not a plane. To reinforce this,
right.
When I was at the high
familiar with them.
Check this out. Okay, I'd always for the first 4 years of being terrorized by these anti-dimensional orbs, I'd always wait till the sun was down to like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'd take the car, I'd go for a drive by close to the mountains, off grid where the farms are. I'm really close to off grid, and I'd walk across the farms. There'd be these little paths along the irrigation units for the cranberries that supply water to the whole farm operation. And they go in for miles, right? They can walk for miles. Usually I walk for about half an hour, mile or two into the farms.
Right.
And once I arrived to the street that led to them, close to basically the end of the grid off the city, off there it's all forest. So I park the car and I start walking. I see this huge star. I'm like, what the hell? It's the size of, it was 3/4 of the size of the sun. It was like a dim yellow orange color. I'm like, what the hell? It's the Matrix effing with my head. No star is that big. It's just an insertion, right? So anyways, I go for my walk,
Right.
and I'm coming back. That orb is still there. As soon as I'm about, I'd say, 1.5 blocks before reaching the path on the highway leading to the farms, the street. This orb powers up. It starts moving. It's like, it starts moving, starts flying towards me. I'm like, great, now another effing with my head, right? So this orb moves. It was stationary for what, about an hour,
Right.
half hour to go away, half hour to come back. So this thing starts moving. I'm looking at it. It flies directly in my path over my head, but it was really cloudy, and I think it was a lot of fog that day too. And it went behind the clouds. But after it flew over from myself, I was feeling pretty good. Not perfect though, but I was still feeling like symptoms and distresses, but minimal. As soon as it flew over my head, I became sore from head to toe, and I was energetically manipulated for 3 weeks because I didn't know how to clear these fields and do energy work then. But definitely, these things are types of anti-field torturing orbs. Yeah, they carry dark programming and they do their job purpose. So yeah, I vouch for that. I've seen one of those things bare naked as the orbit is. It sounded like an airplane exactly. That's when I put 1 + 1. I'm like, damn, these aren't airplanes. So this is why I renamed them Foo Fighters. So yeah, these things tortured myself day and night for many years before I could figure out what's happening and being revealed energy work, energy frequency tuning, clearing, definitely using my Dragon Guardian security processors to process these things and any other violation
they make
manipulation.
turns, man, that no plane that size should make. You know, I mean, these things defy gravity. And
yeah, they do.
it's just insane. I've got one. It's lit up. I mean, it's. I've never seen a plane lit up like this, and it's like nobody. It's flying so low.
Oh, this system is
area, man.
This system is full of tricks
every night. It's just
or
crazy, man. and nobody
Or
questioned.
if somebody's doing really well, I don't know, for many cities or countries, there's always a train station nearby. So myself, I realize when I'm doing really well and the signal is almost gone, the tinnitus that I'm perceiving, that I'm hearing the signal, when it's almost gone, never fails. A train will be like, ooh, and I can hear it.
Oh yeah, I get trains, I get fire trucks every day, ambulances,
But
cars.
get this, one time the train was so loud, it sounded like it was coming from across the street from my neighbors. I'm like, what the hell? This system even's got surround sound. I'm like, what the hell? Right? It's just really
It's nuts, man.
The manipulations for one simulation, the dark anti-field manipulations, really the tactics can be manipulated severely, where you're hearing sounds that aren't really there. They're being projected basically by acoustic digital signals, right? Translating the sound in your thought core, and then you're hearing sounds that aren't really there. But yeah, it's just the system goes to extremes. One time when it couldn't get my attention, I was laying down in my room. I was becoming aware of all these manipulations, and I was laying down in the room, and there was these blinds. I had the blinds over the window pulled down, and it couldn't get my attention. So all of a sudden, the blind starts to move. I caught that right away. I'm like, this system has all its tricks up its sleeve. Somebody who didn't know, it's a ghost. No, I don't. It moved because it was part of the programming that made it move, right? And wanted to get my attention. When the system can't get your attention sometimes, usually it wants your attention, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. That's how it can build circuits. But when one is progressing their ascensions, it's simple. I don't give my energy to anyone, nor connect to any board or any person, place, or thing. Then things get different and the tactics get changed. But the perceived organized harassment, gang stalking, that is actually dark entity channel manipulations is very real. It's very real. Whether somebody is perceiving it for what it is the question.
Right. And
so I was going to ask Cage, man, do you get any of this weird stuff happening?
I was going to touch on this real quick.
Okay, go ahead, Lonnie. Go ahead. And then Cage could take off from that point. No, go ahead on your part, and then Cage could fill in. I'm just curious if Cage experiences any interdimensional.
No, I'll let Cage answer that.
I think Cage
once you become more aware of, you see so much of stuff happening. I think it's all a projection of the mind, though.
Definitely, it is a projection of the mind. So go ahead, Lonnie. You were going to add something to that.
So yeah, I was just going to say that these I don't even want to call them people.
Smith agents, sirens. We'll call them sirens.
They're interdimensional traveling. I mean, they're in your fucking home. You know, my dog could see them, man. It was crazy. They'd have a motherfucker flying a little drone or something in my house, and the dog could see him. You know what I mean? And my
dogs can't see something.
Oh, she's just looking at a fucking at a fly. I'm like, well, where's the fucking fly at then, man?
Right.
So it's always good to have a pet around.
I've seen monitors on some videos. Excuse me.
Somebody said that tonight is this game.
Can you repeat that?
Nice. So let's go back to the technology part of this whole deal. So let's talk about the jetliners. So if you average the fuel that they put into these 737 passenger jumbo jets and the distance that they're traveling, their fuel consumption does not add up to what they have on board and where that fucking fuel that they're saying they're putting in the wings of the plane. You know what I mean? Now they're putting the fucking fuel in the wings.
Yeah,
and it doesn't coincide with the fuel mileage, man. None of it makes sense.
We can look at it this way. That fuel consumption is. I used to work for a body shop. They used to charge ICBC for a lot more
Yeah.
hours that was being put in for, they just make money. So the extra fuel they're claiming is basically money in their pockets. Could be just like a money scam they're doing to their companies, right? Or it could be something else, just covering the probabilities and
Well, it is a
possibilities.
scam, and the scam is this. Right, the scam is this. They're not using those turbine motors. They're only using those turbine motors to fucking take off and to land. That's it. That's all they're doing, man. Now, the technology's been around for a really long time. But
and now the airplane engines aren't on the back of their back of the wing no more. Apparently, all the engines have been put into the front of the airplanes.
In this timeline, yes. In this realm, yes.
Mandela effect, and I definitely remember the engines on the back, not the front.
Yeah. You're damn right. But we're crazy. I don't know what anybody else's take is on this, but
but please, anybody add in anything they have, anything anybody wants to step in any time.
Going back,
Glenn, where you at, man? I haven't heard you.
What?
Was that Nathan?
Yeah. Going back to the Pearl Harbor
What
thing.
would you have to say? Okay.
Did you guys ever look at pictures of Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I have looked at pictures. They look, I'll be honest, they look eerie and displaced for some reason. They don't look right.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, some of them resemble dummies. They have no facial features, but you can see the kind of head. It's got a plain solid color. It's just weird that they would
props almost, right?
Yeah,
props. Reminds me of the Philadelphia experiment for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, here's the thing, and I've been thinking about this for actually the past week. I'm thinking, so we were in a reality where, we thought we were living, we were in a physical, we lived on a ball, or at least this is where I was at one point, 2 years ago. And, man walked on the moon and all this bullshit. But I started, questioning a lot of things. And one of them was here recently that, now I knew that a lot of that targeting program was all about the data, is all about the information. See, I thought that they were trying to recreate a soul. I was wrong. I don't know. But anyway, so it's all about the data. This voice of the skull, which is the voice of God, is what the guy originally called it when he made it. I mean, it's just insanely technology. The technology is out of this world, man. And that's how they won the fucking Iraqi war, when they lied to the Iraqis and told them they were God and throw down your fucking weapons. Americans are our friends. Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan spilled all that shit. But here's the thing. Were we not already uploaded into the quantum computer? Were we not already uploaded?
Well,
I think we were.
We're existing. Always have existed in a digital holographic projection reality projected from one's thought core. This is why I keep sometimes I repeat saying that everybody has their own parallel copy Earth to regulate. And if they're not regulating their thought core, that is a projection of their simulation, then it's going to get hijacked. So in actual fact, when somebody comes to the comprehension and realizes they're in a very sophisticated type of technological existence, like in a computer, then they start to navigate through the system really at a different level. That's all I could define.
Okay, and that goes back to the You remember that? You remember that email or Facebook message I shared with you from that Chris dude, and he was talking to me about how does the quantum computer talk to me, and I didn't know what he was talking. He was asking me because
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
yeah, he knew that I was synced with the quantum computer, and he wanted to know if it gave me intel, if I was getting information from it, and he explained to me that basically what you tell me, Sing, is the same thing he said, but in different terms, in a different language, and he's basically like this, guys, that we are the good and the bad.
Right. The light and the dark.
We are Lucifer. We are God. But we are all one singularity.
Yeah, United Independent Singularity,
Right.
Type of collective species. Yeah. Yeah. So in actual fact, nobody could be the devil anti-version of the source core, and nobody could be the luminary source core, but we are extensions of both, experiencing the two-dimensional channels, and eventually one becomes aware and realizes the dark channel has no benefits, but is actually all tortures and distresses, and then one makes a decision really to regulate themselves, because the dark channel shall always be there with invites, come on, do this or whatever, tempt you to turn dark. It's a matter of realizing there's nothing there for myself that I really enjoy experiencing. Now somebody could define, the climax is dark sexual energies. No, it's not. Okay,
Right.
There's two versions of the climax. Okay, there's one that's dark, that's up conduction field climax. If you do that, then you're in trouble in your ascension, you're going to get tortured. Then there's a climax that is down conduction, the different channel, the luminary channel. So defining both channel cores, okay, are based on euphoricness and joy, but for beings on the anti-channel, they're experiencing the euphoricness and joy of the anti-field that is a dark and kind of twisted. It's a different code format programming. Now, when one starts the channel change into the luminary channel and gets the anti version to the anti-channel, they get basically the luminary energetic fields of joy and euphoricness. Then they stay in there long enough, they realize that is a way more potent energetic field than the anti-field. By jumping back and forth, one becomes reacquainted to realizing what the dark anti-programming is. It's all tortures, manipulations, deceptions, pains, torments, sufferings, distresses, and symptoms, all anti-dark insertion template programming, that really the pleasure there is in disguise and always has been as torturous. So one that turning dark or one not aware is usually having joy in euphoricness to the anti-field being lifted up and doesn't know really what the down feeling is of the different dimensional channels. But when one wakes up, they become acquainted to the two different channels to start discerning and start realizing, making choices. So where I'm going with this is the core energetic fields, why the penis, the phallus, and so forth is worshipped, and also the vagina, many things representing the whole and vice versa, is each core dimensional plane's core energetic feeling of euphoricness and pleasure is actually, beings are actually constructed of what is defined lust, sexual energetic fields. That is the language of the luminary source and also the anti-source. So in actual fact, the sexual and lust energies is the core unification of known as the bliss and euphoricness, is what one is constructed of. So when I'm conducting my fields properly, conduction down, knowing where my core is, knowing what energetic fields my core is, it's almost like I'm having climatic lust energies all the time. Where else would I want to be, right? Everybody chases to feel good, blissful, and euphoric. But there's a catch to all this, okay? The luminary climax would be perceived at one's root tail core, their tailbone reference and region. Now, the anticlimax would be a total head sensus type of stimuli anti-field. Up in the head would be the reverse climax. And if somebody's going up high, sky high to the top of the head, then they're in a different dimensional channel. So I base myself, stabilize myself at my root base. No, not root base. One chakra reference and region, energetic point. I don't go by chakras. I go by energetic references and regions. I anchored myself and have basically established my energetic fields at my tail core perceived the underworld. Okay, now the anti dark matrix channel up and out, it would be perceived the anti different channel, the world above, two different dimensional channels. So this is why what was represented on Ian's channel about dying aware. Yeah, when you die, you go to the anti-world, and to do that aware defines you'll have a different projection into that reality. So, also contemplated is I've been revealed. Some of us shall attain immortality. Well, what's immortality? It's nothing big. It's no big deal. One realizes what is death? Death is the deception of being to the above world where people are repeated, rebirth, recycled, the anti-dark channel up and above. So
Right.
what is death? Well, the body cells start to break down and decay. Well, it's a deterioration of programming, error code format that breaks down one's body. So in actual fact, immortality isn't that complicated when one understands where they could attain it is in the proper luminary dimensional matrix channel, where the program of decay and rot, and for one's surrogate vessel to break down and eventually break and go offline, death, perceived the death above, one gets repeated, rebirth, and recycled, shall not be taste. Some of us here shall not taste death. We'll be around for a long time and just dimensionally jump into the next perceived dimensional channel beyond. So death is an option of, I don't like defining death. There's the living death that is above in the anti-channel, and then there is the immortal death to go to the underworld where you have a continuum where you don't taste death no more because your body surrogate vessel doesn't decay anymore because that decay program called age has been canceled, like a virus being removed out of a computer. So what is age? What is decay? Well, it's a program. It is a program, anti-dark matrix channel insertion program. Anybody being deceived and isn't informed with accurate information shall taste the death above in the different dimensional channel and be repeated, rebirth, recycled, if
Right.
not grasping what this ascension is all about. So it is interesting. So all this information to myself didn't
Yeah,
arrive over
yeah,
one day. I've been at this.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah, I've been at this for about being sort of woken up about going into 12 years now. So the last 6 years has been really informative because I've been aware of my ascension of this whole place and working with energetic energy frequency tuning, energy work, thought projection, and also being revealed how to adjust programs, remove not programs that don't serve anymore, that I don't desire anymore. So it's basically like tuning my computer, my thought core to what I want to experience now and what has been represented as information. I do my work so I could attain the modulations, the adjustments to my reality, projection, experience of events, but also adjust my vessel, my head, neck, and body, all parts, energies, and functions to have a different reality experience. So it is a process. Some of us shall not taste that. That is for sure.
Hey, hold up. Hey, take care, Glenn, and drop in anytime, brother. It was good to have you, man.
Yeah, it was good to have you.
I just wanted to let Glenn know to drop back by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your channel shall attract more and more as time progresses. It's the process.
Yeah, a lot of if we can reach just a handful of people and help them, man, I'm happy.
Well, this is how you're doing it, right?
Because
We can't
there's
force
those people
anybody.
out there. Yeah, yeah, I remember 2 years ago when I realized what was happening to me, man. And there was a woman named Amy Ray Boone. She's a a human activist, advocates for targeted individual, and she ended up becoming a target herself. And I remember I sought her out, and it was the first person that believed what I was, saying and what was happening to me, man. And I broke down, dude. I'm an emotional wreck. I think, I think I might have cried for 3 hours, dude. I mean, I thought I was going crazy. People had me convinced I was going crazy. It was bad, man. It wasn't good.
Yeah,
But,
and it's not good. And people don't realize what a target individual is. Organized harassment. That is actually a dark channel change. One shall be getting worked by the dark entities. In actual fact, the tortures that a target individual is feeling, they're actually going into the anti-dragon torture cubicles to certain levels. I've actually went into a bone crushing cubicle once. I remember. I've seen some of these astral levels of the tortures on astral travels that I've done, and they're not good. It's just they do nasty things, these astral beings, right? So the tortures that a target individual may be going through, like the phantom pains and stuff, it could be a dagger being inserted. You could be spoked with an arrow. You could be going into a torture machine device that you're not seeing because it's being inserted as a digital inlay and overlay on a sub-dimensional plane, because you're actually in a different channel, but you're not seeing everything because it's not allowing for you to see it, because that's the way it functions, that channel, for some reason. So what a target individual goes through, some go through extreme pains, and I do know why they're going through the pains. It's not just phantom, it's in their head. They're actually going in these torture cubicle digital holographic insertions. That is code format programming, that is manipulating the reality, that is actually a torture device that is being inserted or being put into, right? So yeah, those myths of demons and dark entities putting daggers into you and cutting your tongue and doing this and that, I assure you, on the astral and etherical level, your tongue could be split in half, but you'll be feeling a severe pain to your tongue. You don't know why it's hurting, but I assure you, somebody has cut your tongue on the etheric and astral torture level, right? So all this is happening. Definitely, I've seen some of these cubicles, not on the scribing screen, but I've actually seen this one device. It looked like a 40-ton press where somebody sits cross-legged like they do in yoga, and this machine just crunches all your bones. And I witnessed some being getting this done to them, and it's like you can hear all the bones cracked. Apparently, I woke up in the morning bruised from head to toe, and I was getting messages from the V2K anti-torturing, just sort of subliminal message. It was you we put in the machine. That's why you're all sorry. And I'm like, probably did put me in this machine, but I know the body repairs, regenerates, and it is crazy what they do. I've also seen another astral travel where, check this out. I was being shown all these things too on different levels of this dimensional channel. There was this lady gardening, and there was this astral being who had like a nail gun with a gas cartridge. And while she was gardening, this astral being was putting nails into her head. Bam, bam. But I think by the time he put the 8th nail in her head, she passed out and dropped on the floor. Some of these beings that die, all of a sudden, they have seizures or drop to the floor. I assure you, they're being worked on the astral level by some type of astral being perceived as a demon, maybe. But this was a humanoid type of looking being. And I'm like, when I see that, I'm like, these sneaky mofos, right? They're around doing this a lot of the time. So this is what I realized: doing energy work, energy frequency tuning, and definitely clearings, putting these anti-trespasser deceptions, manipulations into my vacuum dragging processors, right? So yeah, another one I've seen. Check this out. It was like all these people standing in a line. You ever see those vents in restaurants where it just pulls the smoke out of the grill? Except these vents were like maybe 4 feet, and then a few feet apart another vent, and there was these beings standing underneath these vents. But what happened was they were naked too. I think they had all their clothes stripped off. Boiling hot oil, like clear oil, would be poured over them, and until their flesh all seared off, like whatever part it would get, I guess up to their torso down, how far it would get. Soon as it was over, the flesh would remanifest, go back on, and the process would begin over, where the hot boiling oil would be poured on them until their tortures were like over and over and over. Yeah, I've seen that. These ones I remember clearly, these 3 that I just stated about. So some people defining hell as fake. It's not happening. Hell is real, and it's happening all the time around. Displacement of dimensional channels, people being displaced, channel changed, being tortured, being deceived. That's why I define in many of the video translations I do is it's not worth it to utilize dark programming because your channel changed and tortured. So yeah, what you're defining, what she was going through, yeah, you got emotional. I could understand that. I could understand that because
you can't even
for beings,
you can't do a lot
for
of things.
for people that have not went through defining dark entity manipulations or even becoming aware, it's titled gang stalking, organized harassment. They really don't know the levels of actual torture that does happen. Okay, for the first 4 years, when I woke up to this whole thing, I felt like I was in a radiation oven, sick as a dog, and bruised from head to toe almost daily. It's just like if the pains were always there, but certain pains on the body would be re-injected. Like I'd walk by a certain region in the cells, boom, I'd get hit. And every time I'd walk by there, the same pain would be like re-injected. Also going out in public, certain beings walking by, I'd get more distresses, symptoms, and definitely more sharp pains or insertions of types of tortures. And this is where I'm like, this whole world's evil. But it's a displacement. When one starts to grasp it all, they really start to realize that, you know, it's happening as a channel change, dimensional shift, or it could also be something coming into your dimension as a breach. But a hard shift into the dark channel, one will definitely know that something's not right. And definitely there is pain induction, fear induction there, paranoia induction. And also, yeah, many things happening on the unseen level. That's a sub sort of off-dialed level to that channel where lots of manipulations are happening. Yeah, I was gonna say it's crazy, but it's definitely real to what could be perceived that's happening. Yeah,
I mean, what do we call crazy? You know what I mean?
Crazy is just a label to identify something by this.
Just you know, here's the thing, and I've said it. I've said this many times. I could see a family of 4 at you know, Dairy Queen or somewhere having an ice cream, and instead of ice cream, there being a smoking hot fucking turd on an ice cream cone, you know, and wouldn't think nothing of it.
Exactly. Many things could be inserted, right?
Fucking outlandish this shit is. Just when you
you could be eating an ice cream could be,
you know, it's as stupid as this. Me and you talking about me doing. Go ahead.
You're cutting out. Your audio's cutting out.
Mine things is.
I had some events happen that were definitely in the subdimensional plane. Go ahead, Lonnie. You were going to add something.
How about now?
You're good now.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. I was saying that it's as simple as me and you talking about me and you doing a brake job on my car, and then one of these fucking perps just walk by me and say, yeah, I had to get brakes and rotors on my car, and I mean, just out of nowhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I call it the parrot system.
It's stupid, man.
The parrot agent. Well, they're trying to work somebody, right? What better way to make them paranoid and crazy than everybody saying something I'm thinking about or did today or did in my private? It's nothing new. It's part of the program. They're working you. Yeah. I could tell everybody what event happened. I talked about it before, but I can tell you. This is when I was dabbling with meth. But definitely, I'll tell you about the event that transpired. I got arrested on the highway because I was leaving this district and I was going to go walk to a different district. And apparently, it's illegal to walk on the side of the highway unless you have a car. You can't walk there. So that's where the cop really stopped to start the whole ritual. I told what these.
Right.
I can laugh about it because it is funny. I can either laugh about it and see for the comical scripting, and they did a total ritual. I'll tell you about it. So, anyways, I was on the highway. This is when I was experiencing with the stimulant meth, and I knew the cops were trying to get me, work me, because prior to going across the highway, contemplating, I had feelings as like, if I go along the highway, they're probably going to say something and do something, and that's what did happen exactly. Anyways, this female pulls over. I was sort of chilling out by this section to this other district near the highway, and this female police officer pulls up. She's like, she's saying something. Where am I going? What I'm doing? I'm like, just going to Vancouver. And she stated something like, you can't be walking across the highway traveling. I think she did state something like that. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I think I said something like that. But anyways, I don't remember the exact conversation a long time ago. But anyways, she was pointing at her computer where I should go and what I should do. I was just feeling I was totally being scripted, like mind controlled, to go here, do this, do that, which I probably was to a great degree. All right, because a lot of times it's perceived organized harassment gangs, talking that is actually dark channel entity manipulations. They actually script you to go to certain places and do things sort of by like a hypnotist hypnotizing you, giving you the programming, go this way, whatever, influence of the suggestion. When one is not in their correct energetic fields, they can be manipulated easily by people's suggestions, very easily. So anyways, I get to the highway. Cop, not too long, I'm talking about maybe not even 5 minutes into talk. Just as soon as, it looks like they were waiting. As soon as I got on the highway, the shark came out. The cop, woo, it was like, and I was really hot. I had my shirt off too. I had my pants on though. I was just hot. It was a hot, like midsummer or near the end of the summer. It was hot. And so the cop pulls up there. He's like, yeah. He's like, you can't be on the highway. And he's like, you're under arrest. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna put you under arrest for the influence. I don't remember what he's defined, or being on the highway. He wanted to arrest me for being on the highway. He didn't know I was under the influence. So I didn't want to get arrested, right? So I left my bag at the side. So I tried to pull away from this cop. I was going to run across the street to like this off-grid area and go to the forest and deke him. As soon as I get a couple paces away from the cop tases me. I got tased and dropped on the floor. Wow, it was so painful, man. I was under the influence and it really amplified everything, right? Really being under the stimulant meth. Boy, I remember that shock. It was one of the worst tortures I've ever felt. Obviously, it was bad. I don't know if anybody's been tased, but not a good thing. So anyways,
yeah,
I wasn't going to give up on the first try, right? I felt the prongs in my back, so I kind of pulled the strings out, and I was trying to reason with the cop. As soon as I got the prongs out, I booked it again. He tased me again, right? So I dropped twice. After that, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not a good idea. I won't make it to off-grid because I'll probably get tased again. But anyways, this cop takes me to, get this, on the highway, no traffic. Traffic was stopped throughout this whole experience. They bring me to the mid-island between the two traffics. One, the highway, one traffic lane going this way, that way, multiple lanes. I think 2 or 3 on one side, 2 or 3. They bring me to the mid-island of a certain section, which was like sort of with dividers, like little island breaks before yielding. You know how streets yield and traffic merges, like a little island in the middle of the highway, which had like a patch of grass, maybe was 6 meters by 3 meters. But anyways, there was this unit, this power unit by there. So they had me on the floor. By that time, about two other cop cars came, 3. They had me on the floor, right? And what they did was they opened up this power box unit right on the island where it was, and they pulled out this black cord. And what came out of this, it was like a tube, like a air tube. So anyways, shit, okay, this all happened taking consideration. I was majorly displaced into the dark channel. So they pull out this cord, and what comes out of it is like all this white smoke. I'm like, great, these cops are gonna cook me. They're gonna ignite this methane, whatever they're pouring on me. They're gonna burn me in the middle of the highway. Like, it was thick, dense smoke that came out of this. It looked like a power box, except this guy pulls a cord out like he knew it was there, releases it. Right. Okay. After that happens, maybe it waited about a minute and a half. One of the cop unbuttons my my pants and pulls it down where my penis is sort of showing. It's just like I didn't want to move. I was super paranoid. I'm like, great, they're gonna do me in the middle of the highway.
What the fuck?
Yeah, check this out, right? So it wasn't fully exposed my penis, but you can see like my private part of my penis, right? This is where I realized these cops probably were gay, right? Some of them, obviously. Anyways, they're getting off on this. So, anyways, I was told, "Don't look back, don't look back." What I had the intuition arrive of information was some cop was jerking off behind me, getting off, right? That's why they were telling me not to look back. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna look back because I don't want to get shot and killed. This is bad as it gets. They just dumped all this white methane, whatever gas was that came out of this type of tube out of a power unit box in the island. So anyways, that all finishes. Great. I didn't get killed. So they called an ambulance. They put me in the back of the cop car. Get this. By that time, I'm super paranoid. I'm like maximum induction paranoia and fear, thinking, what the hell are these cops going to do? So I'm in the back of the cop car, and I look at my body that doesn't have a shirt. And thorns, like out of a blackberry bush, started coming out of my skin. I could see them. They were there. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, and then I came to my senses, like, all the cop cars have heavy-duty Wi-Fi amplification devices in their back of their trunk. I'm like, I knew it wasn't real, but it was also dreamy. It was like a holographic insertion to my body. So what I did is these thorns were coming out of my chest like a blackberry bush with berries. I'm like, what the hell? And I seen these thorns coming out. So I specifically grabbed one from my left arm and I pulled it out, and I could feel like a ghost phantom vine slip out of my arm. And I left it on the cop car. I could see it sort of on the seat. But after a while, it vanished. I'm like, what the hell? Then all the thorns vanished too. But that's when I became aware of this place is like an illusion type of... I didn't know what to think because that was early in my ascension, right? So anyways, I'm back there tripping out, really scared, right. Super fear, super paranoia. They're illusion harvesting myself majorly with these insurgents, the illusions, the side talk, what they did at the middle of the island. So anyways, finally an ambulance arrives and like, we're going to take you to the hospital. I'm like, okay, well, let's go to the hospital. I didn't even say anything. I was just like, okay. So I get in the ambulance and they're asking me my name, right? They had me strapped down in the bed. By that time, they just were working me really good. So...
You were going crazy on meth, though. That's probably why.
No. There was
crazy shit happens when you're on meth. You see.
I've never hallucinated taking any. I've taken mushrooms many times in the past. Younger, weed, alcohol. I've tried.
What the fuck singularity, man? What are you talking about, man?
I've tried cocaine. I've tried. It doesn't end there. Just wait. It gets even better. I'll tell you what happened in the hospital right till the next day. This is like a movie in itself. So anyways, all right, I've tried many things, never hallucinated, but Cage, I knew it wasn't real. It was just, I knew there was insurgents, manipulation. Somehow this reality isn't what it is. I was getting information at the same moment. I was getting all the information about the dark system, but paranoid as hell and inferior-induced paranoia as hell. Like, I mean, maximum induction. So anyways, the ambulance arrives. I get in the ambulance and they're asking me my name. I didn't want to tell my real name, right? I was like, they asked me my name. I gave them some name. I actually told them I was Rossi. I'm like, what's your name? I'm like, Rossi. And then they kind of looked at each other. They didn't really say much. Then after, I'm like, I told them my name, right? Because they wanted to know my name. So I told them my real name. And one ambulance, the paramedics in the back, one guy looks at the other guy and he's like, I'm not going to write it down. It's too long. And plus my shift is almost over. Get this. And the ambulance driver, the paramedics in the back, looked at myself and said this to me: tonight you died in a car accident. I'm like, great, this is it. This is my last night, right? And they had this metal object that looked like a hook. It wasn't sharp. I thought they were crazy, okay? Probably were anyways. They weren't the normal people that you'd seen every day. And probably they were Dark Age Smith agents working me to make me super paranoid. So one gets this metal object like a hook. It wasn't sharp. It was really thick. And he starts pretending he's cutting my wrist, pushing on it. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then he looks at the wall. He's like, "There's blood over there on the wall. Do you get that?" The other guy's wiping it off. There's no blood on the wall. There's nothing there. I'm like, I don't know what to think of it. Is that they had me basically working me good. I thought I was either going insane or they're crazy. Just something wasn't right. Anyways, the rest of the drive was silent. I get to the hospital, and eventually they hook me up with some IV, and then this nurse comes. And she's like, "Do you want to take a Tylenol through? Do you want a Tylenol?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever." And I looked at it. It wasn't a Tylenol. It was a little oval-shaped pill, right? I'm like, I was super paranoid by that. And she gives me this tiny little Dixie cup that was like half a shot of water. And I was really thirsty. I'm like, great, right? Okay, I'll take that. And I was thinking, okay, this is not good. I didn't want to take the pill, but I was so paranoid I took it. As soon as I take that pill, I passed out. I didn't even remember nothing. Blackout. So I wake up from this dead sleep with my eyes open. The IV is still in there. So I take out the IV, and it's just like I pulled it out, and I'm like, I need to get out of here. So anyways, they wouldn't release me until I had a psychiatric evaluation, right? I had to see the psychiatrist. So while I was in there, all this drama was happening. It was giving me anxiety. This one lady was like, hollering. It was just a dog show. I was like, what the hell?
72 hours and shit, though.
Anyway,
completely insane.
Finally, I get to the psychiatric evaluation. It took about 45 minutes. Check this out. They tried to do me in. I'll tell you, I'll tell you where I almost came to my death in this whole craziness. Anyways, he sits me down. He's like, have a seat. I sit down, and I can hear this humming machine behind me. I knew it wasn't good. I knew this machine was to manipulate me. It was like, whoa, whoa. I could hear it humming. It was kind of bothering me, but I'm like, more manipulation is great. Anyways, we finished the conversation. He decides to release me. So he releases myself, and then my father came to pick me up. And I was in the back seat of the car. From being completely coherent, feeling normal, as I was talking a slight conversation to my father in the front, I started to slur. I started to go unconscious, and it was just like I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was slurring like I took an overdose hit of heroin or something, man. Not that I've ever whacked that stuff anyways. I've smoked it a few times, but never whacked nothing. So anyways, I'm losing coherence. It's just like a death sleep came over myself. Then my spirit guide and a message came to myself to find, if you go to sleep, you're not going to wake up. You're going to die. Keep yourself awake. So I rolled down the window. I stick my head out the window. I'm shaking my head. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then I got information. What happened is that device that was behind the wall in the psychiatrist's office was actually a device that erased my magnetic fields. They were basically taking out my soul insertion out of the surrogate, powering it down, ready for a repeat, rebirth, recycle. So anyways, I woke myself up. I've had those death sleeps happen about twice with etheric machines that I've astral traveled in my sleep by one of these machines. And I was made aware it was like recycler, repeater, rebirther. And when I woke up, it was in that death sleep again. And the spirit once again told myself, get out of bed, move around, don't go back to sleep for a long time, or else if you go back to sleep now, you're not waking up. You're basically going to be repeater, rebirth, recycle. So in another astral travel, I seen what that machine looks like. It looks like a metaline pyramid, about 4 cars in length, squared, with about, I'd say, 3 cars high. And in the other astral and etheric travel I had, before I went into this death sleep, I got worked by these police in a parking lot, and they brought this big 2-ton truck right beside myself, and the cops went away from the machine, and they told me, you stay there, and they made me stay by the truck. So I didn't know back then how the manipulations happened, but definitely now I avoid being any confrontation with police, and plus I don't do nothing illegal anymore anyways, no stupid things. So basically, before I went into the death sleep with that astral travel to that metaline pyramid, this 2-ton truck came, and the guy who was driving it got out of the truck, started talking to the cops, and he went away from the truck while I was by the truck. So obviously there was a type of machine there that messes with electromagnetic fields. So when I went to sleep that same night is when I seen that metaline pyramid, and the only thing I seen near the pyramid was an astral being. This guy, he's like, goodbye, right? And I got the message from this being is like, you're being sent to the sun, moon to be repeated or recycled to those satellites, the energy orbs that they are. And that's when I woke up where I could barely move. It's like I had no energy. My segregate had no power, and it was just going to shut off. And this is when the message came. That's the second time is get up, move around. If you go back to sleep now, you're not getting back up. And I tell you, it was so hard to wake myself up and get myself out of the bed. It's like I woke up from a coma. So what happens in the astral and etheric procedure that's targeting gang stalking, how people get killed or they die and they sleep, they just never woke up. Yeah, I know how they do it. It's all manipulations. And I know this other tactic that they use because when I was living in Vancouver, when I was well resting in my bedroom, not asleep, just with my eyes closed, while resting, I can hear this entity that basically came into my room. It sounded like somebody who couldn't breathe well. It's like, it just sounded like a demon. It's like, okay, I knew this presence was there. I felt it. It came around to the back of my bed, and I seen the silhouette. It's like almost wearing like Predator invisible armor, but it's not really Predator armor. It's just an offset dimensional frequency to that level within the channel. So this, whatever it was, it looked like a humanoid silhouette, leaned over the bed and put its hands and pushed on my chest to try to make me to stop breathing. So you ever hear people, oh, they just stopped breathing. Well, no, they didn't just stop breathing. They had this etheric creature, whatever it is, humanoid, come around the bed and put them to sleep by pressing on their lungs while they go to sleep. So anyways, those are my experiences to share. It's very real, these weird interdimensional things that happen, but they are happening. But hey, if you're going to go tell somebody else this, you're crazy. So there's some input to this, to these manipulations that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one with the cops who takes the cakes in the middle of the island. I always remember that and I chuckle. I say that as my ritual conditioning.
I've had them pull up, dude. I got my truck stuck on the train tracks, man. Right? I had them, and there was a train coming down the fucking road, or down the tracks within the hour because it was scheduled. Always trying to get my truck off the tracks, right? And I'm talking about all these, the parasites that follow me around. But anyway, the fucking cops, I got, the cops show up, bro, knew who I was, and
yeah,
called a record for me. I only had $100 and something on me. So the fucking wrecker pulls my truck off the fucking tracks. Okay, I got a 4-wheel drive, and I had dug 2 holes in the ground where I fucking was trying to spin out off the track. Well, the fucking wrecker set me down right into those holes and pulled right away as soon as they pulled me off the track. Then the motherfucker took off. And I was stuck all over again. So luckily they came back and pulled me back off because I went chasing down the fucking road. But yeah, it's just dumb shit like that, man.
Yeah, it's when
ridiculous, man.
When
the shit that happens doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's major manipulations, right? There's just one becoming aware where to go and where not to go and what to do and what not to, what can be done and what cannot be done, right? But definitely there's manipulations. Definitely family doctors, I don't even visit that no more. It's just ridiculous going there to be scripted. Every time I'd go there, I'd be waiting in the room for like 15, 20 minutes. And why did they put me in the room? I'd go to the doctor's office normal. By the time sitting in the room, by the time the doctor arrived, I'd be pretty well a paranoid basket case because of the manipulations going on there. It's just like I go in there normal. I'm waiting. Start getting a little bit of anxieties, then paranoia creeps, and then fear with the paranoia, and then all the so forth. Hunting, talking to the head. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, there's this happening. There's that happening. Then by the time the doctor comes in, I can't even speak. I'm glitching. My speech is stuttering, sticking, and I'm just like, what the hell, right? And yeah, that was then. But still, I don't. The only doctor I visit is a dentist. And I got a pretty cool dentist because also it's being in a reflection to my thought of intent projection. So he's pretty cool. We're pretty cool with his.
That's what you were saying.
with his, what do they call their helpers? Anyways, I can't remember their name. They're not their hygienists, but anyways, they usually have somebody else helping him. So they're pretty cool. I'm really doing my energy frequency tuning pretty all the time. And I do hear a frequency earring high pitch modulation attempt to change my channel, right? It's like when the doctor comes in, I'm like, no, it ain't happening. You're not giving me the double dark copy doctor channel change Smith siren. It's not happening. Yeah, so I sustained the channel change. I don't know. I could hear you good. I don't think I'm bogging out, unless every.
And this.
You gonna end it? All right. It's been good. Anyways, Cage, Nathan,
Yes.
Lonnie, it's been good.
Hey, Sing, I
All
sent
right,
you
everybody,
an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it, guys, and
All right.
but hey, Sing, I'll get a hold of me later tonight or something, man, and or today or whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk when the moment calls.
Nathan, thanks for popping up, man. Pop in anytime, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Everybody do what they need to do.
Have you hey Sing?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you have you done any more fishing on the what do we call it? The treasure hunt.
Yeah, I have. I've covered all the provinces basically, and
Treasure hunt.
it's not in Canada. It's most likely in the States. I'm gonna try maybe next week. I'm taking a break from that, put full force into it a couple of days, right? But from what understanding is, it's got to be in the States, basically the corporation, and because the rules have changed, also Fidelity, you can't access that stock brokerage from here. So basically, I'm going to try doing it myself. But if the rules are, if you're a Canadian citizen, you can't access nor talk to the federal corporation representatives nor provincial corporation representatives in the States, then I got to ask you to assist me on that, because if it can't be found in the States, but I have a good emphasis, it's probably going to be in the States. Okay. So, but hold on a second. There's another platform that I accessed that has, let me see this. Anyways, it's a platform where you use anyways, I'm going to see if I can find it, explain to you quickly. It's a platform, it's a digital platform where actually it costs money to utilize, and it's actually software you got to buy. Well, anyways, I'm going to tell you the platform if I can get down there. Anyways, it's a digital platform. It's not the regular brokerage access like Fidelity. It's like a worldwide database search, and it has many functions. It even has the algorithm to make the algorithms on you can type in your business and give it information, and it'll give you algorithms to increase the efficiency of how your business is being run. So this software device, you got to purchase it, but this will be big buck software device. So I don't know if the next option would be to actually find somebody with the software device, the actual company that has it, and get them to do the search, because it goes into the private. It could be either. Hold on a second. It could be, yeah. It could be either a federal corporation, a provincial corporation.
Jared, thanks for stopping by, man. I tried to type back to you, but I couldn't.
All right. So basically, it could be a federal corporation. It could be a provincial corporation, or it could be a private corporation where this database platform has access of algorithms to find. But this one here accesses all the algorithms around the whole world. So basically, if there is the corporation with that number under the business, it will be found by this device, where I was informed that this is the platform to use. But you got to be basically, I guess, how could it find? You got to purchase the software, and this is software we're talking about. It's worth a lot of money. This platform utilization. This is where like million dollar companies, corporations, if not higher up, and
Yeah.
in that price are actually paying 30 grand a year or 30 grand to utilize the software on the platform. It's not software that you get.
Yeah.
It's software you
mine's
use from a certain company, but from where I arrived to this platform was I was talking to Grand Theft Auto, G2P, G2P chat. Okay, and I asked what platform could I use or software to identify a federal corporation or a provincial corporation. I asked those questions, if I'm correct, and it directed me to platforms that I had no idea were available for identifying these things. So I've come to the conclusion is, so I'm going to look in the States, nothing happens there, then the only option is to access one of these platforms with these algorithms, because these corporation numbers are immutable, basically. Even if the corporation was sold, there would be, I talked to a federal representative to the federal corporation search, and she was really cool. I'm like, oh, maybe this company that I have shares in has been dissolved. And she's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, maybe it's just dissolved and it's not going to be found. She's like, well, no matter what happened with the company, there's going to be files with the records stating where and what happened and where things were liquidated. She sold, basically. So she made it clear it's got to be found somewhere, because the business numbers, also known as CUSIP numbers for corporations, are immutable, and their records have traces. It's just like cookies when you go to a website. So there is a trace back to where you went, or basically defining by this is where and what happened with the corporation, right? If it was sold, sure, it could have been sold where somebody cashed out my shares. But the thing is, they would be responsible for fraud, but to pursue something like that would be far-fetched. But furthermore, is nobody could take somebody else's shares. It just doesn't happen like that. It's just the projection. My reality is defining nobody's done nothing with shares. It's just the CUSIP number and the corporation and the amount is worth is somewhere. It's just got to be treasure hunted, found. So yeah, that's where I'm at basically with that. And if I can't access the States, then you'd have to act on my behalf. Well, you wouldn't tell them you're not me, but basically after if it was found, then
1099A.
Yeah, you could do that, but
yeah, I'm going to utilize the 1099A and go get a car, go get a truck or something.
Yeah, you're in the States, man. You got lots of perks and bonuses.
Internet, but it's shit now.
Yeah, you can purchase a vehicle every year and profit on that. But furthermore, you got that a mortgage of release. If in the future you save a few bucks, you buy a house, it's already paid off. You just get that slip of mortgage of release if paid in full, and basically your house is fully paid for. Well, it's paid for right when you sign the mortgage, your house is paid off. That document is created, but banks withhold that for about 6 years. Banks withhold that for about 6 years, but if you're aware and you demand it, they're going to have to give it to you, or they're going to be in for a fraudulent lawsuit of not giving you proper paperwork documents.
Yeah.
So here I'm kind of working on that.
All right. Well,
I've seen slips here, and I may approach it with a hit and miss thing because there's no assistance in Canada with basically information directing you like in the States, right? So anyways, I'll let you know with that corporation thing. I'm going to try to get contacting the States myself and doing the process. But if it's a no-go because I'm a Canadian citizen, because rules have changed, the regulations in the last couple of years, and then possibly you can intervene. And if you locate it, then you know what we've discussed other times.
Right. Yeah. Well,
all right, Lonnie.
We'll take care. And,
all right,
I'll
Nathan,
talk to you
Lonnie.
later this evening or something, man.
Yeah, we'll talk when the moment calls, and I'm sure it will be
hey,
crossing
up
panels.
Thanks for stopping in, man.
Hey, thanks. It's good to get
Jared,
to know you guys.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for sticking around, and whoever else is out there. you'll be seeing us again. Thanks, guys. Have a good.
All right.
have a
All
good
right,
day.
Lonnie. Talk to you soon, bro. You
I'll
well?
talk to you later.
Ilani, see you
Nathan
soon.
and Sing.
All right.
All right.
See y'all later.
Goodbye. Yep. All right. Bye.